I have 1 week to not just beat every 3D Mario game, but to 100% complete them. And yes, I got this idea from Yakos CMN. Hello, if you're watching this, I liked your Sonic video a lot, it was really cool. So I documented this entire adventure, and I mean all of it. Even when I wasn't playing, I was recording videos on my phone so I could remember how I felt at that moment. But otherwise, I was playing Mario games for about 12 to 16 hours a day. And if that wasn't enough, I bought a big timer that was on screen at all times, and it was basically my doomsday sentence. There you have it. I officially have less than 7 days to finish all these 3D Mario games. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Let's go! If you thought I was kidding about the timer, well, you can see for yourself. It's plastered on my face cam, and just like our reality, time doesn't stop for anybody. But hey, you know me, right? The Nathaniel B guy's Nintendo guy channel? Oh, this will be a cakewalk for him. He's played through these games so many times in the past, there's no chance of the funny red plumber causing him any sort of stress, right? Just hit him! What the f***? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So to lay some ground rules, I have to play every game on official hardware, and decided to play Mario 64 using Switch Online. And I even used the N64 controller just to be extra cheeky. My original plan was to just beat every 3D Mario game and not 100% them. But, you know, this is Mario 64, it's short, I decided to 100% it anyway. But at that moment, I figured that with 9 games, I would be more than busy for the whole week. But moving on to the game itself, in order to do 100% Mario 64, you need to get all 6 stars in the 15 main worlds, which includes 100 coins for all of them. There's also 15 secret stars to collect, and 3 Bowser fights on top of that. At the beginning, I was really excited to do this. Finally, I can play video games normally for once. The first day was pretty awesome because typically I have a lot of daily and recurring things to worry about. But for this entire week, I had one mission, and that was to play video games and nothing else. Now, typically, I play Mario 64 in an emulator which has different button lag and movement angles compared to anything on console. Within 10 minutes, I'm already realizing that using the N64 controller that I never use may have been a really bad idea. For all I know, every mistaken second is going to count, so I shouldn't be wasting any time. And that's when the small mistakes started to happen. I wasn't following any sort of speedrun route, but I couldn't do basic tricks like cannonless. And normally I wouldn't really care, but there's a bit of a problem. Yeah, you see, there's a big, scary timer behind me which does nothing but show me that every second is precious and the clock is ticking. You might think this extra timer doesn't add anything because I can always just look at a clock, but no, this is different. I could see exactly how much time was left. And because of that, I was feeling a weird sense of pressure and anxiety, which inherently is kind of dumb. I mean, I know how this game works, I shouldn't be nervous at all, but that's just not how my brain operates. I've got very high expectations for myself, and when I start to fluster, the flustering goes on for long periods of time. But lucky for me, I didn't really play bad until about an hour in. At first, I was more or less just relieved to have the C-stick be buttons because it works perfectly for Mario 64's funky camera system. The joystick is fine on the Xbox, but when you need to turn the camera fast, it's much more accurate on the N64. The issue, of course, is the movement joystick. The angles themselves are very different from what I was used to. This became very apparent in Big Boo's Haunt and Tick-Tock Clock. I kept falling off the roof and making really dumb mistakes that wasted a lot of time, but I wasn't really getting upset or anything. I remained calm because that's what's going to get me through this challenge. And next thing I knew, I was about 5 stars away from Bowser and had just crossed the 3-hour mark. I had also taken a 20-minute break to eat, so I'm kind of surprised how decent my time is. After throwing Bowser 3 more times, I finished the game with 3 hours and 24 minutes. Okay, Mario 64 is complete in about 3 hours, 25 minutes, 2 seconds. Not bad. It's going to be our shortest game probably, outside maybe Bowser's Fury, but for now, I'm break for a little bit. I want to shower and stuff. Oh, silly me, thinking I'm gonna have time to take showers every day. Anyway, after my shower, I started Mario Sunshine. Now that we're past the game I'm most comfortable with, everything is about to get more difficult. I've played in 100% Sunshine a couple of times, but I don't actively fire this one up. But even so, I'm one of those people that actually likes this game. At least that's what I thought at the beginning. I'm busting out a second one. Don't usually do 2, but I feel like it's going to be a late night. I mean, it's going to be a lot of late nights trying to get all this done, so screw it. Guess I'm going to do 2 today. Probably going to regret it. My stomach is absolutely going to hate me. Yup, that's me, still using energy drinks as a source of energy and comfort. I should probably break that habit, or I might actually die by the time I'm 45. But anyway, in order to beat Super Mario Sunshine, all you have to do is get the 7th shine in all 7 main levels. At the time, I also decided to get 1 shine from every secret level, so I did that on day 1 as well. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm playing the 3D All-Stars version because the widescreen is a big plus, and it's just more convenient. Even if the upscaled cutscenes look like a smudgy mess, it's still better than switching out cords with the GameCube or Wii. At first, I was using the Switch Pro controller because I didn't feel like getting a GameCube adapter out. Can I do the spam thing? Oh, I can't even do the spam thing. Oh, I might actually switch to GameCube. Well, that was a 180. Like, seriously, Nintendo, how is this your only controller with shoulder buttons like this? And no, I don't count the Wii Classic controller because that's not the main one on the Wii, but anyway, I'm getting a little off track. Switching to Mario Sunshine felt really great because the controls are so much smoother. I'm very adapted to Mario 64's controls too, but the N64 joystick is horrible, and I switched to one of the most legendary controllers of all time, so of course I'm gonna be a very happy camper. To save time, I was hitting continue instead of save and continue on the easy shines simply because it's slightly faster than waiting for the game to keep track of my save file. I probably only saved a handful of seconds doing this, but it's the least I can do. Because honestly, I was starting to get worried about my pace. So we are almost 30 minutes into our run, only 6 shines. 6 shines in that amount of time is a bit concerning, but enough about that for a second. Is Sunshine still a decent game after all these years? Well, I was starting to have my doubts actually, for the first time ever. This is the only 3D Mario that I've mindlessly played, so now that I'm trying to go through it quickly, I'm noticing many more flaws than before. Like as an example, Rico Harbor. Why the f is this the second world in the game? Look at how narrow and skinny these rails are. This is supposed to be one of the beginning stages? And yes, I know that not every star requires you to run across these, but this is still kinda cool for someone that's still getting the hang of the controls. And the pachinko machine was annoying as usual. Twice did I get all the coins and died trying to get the shine. Oh, get in there. Yeah, what? You. This game. I fucking hate this shit. God damn it. You know, I think my mind represses the bad parts of Sunshine, because I don't usually remember the finicky red coins in Gelato Beach, or this bullshit section in Pinna Park where the camera just chooses to turn behind the wall so you can't see anything. Like, why does the camera do this? The camera's so shit. Why do I get stuck to the fucking wall? I hate this. This is miserable. Cling onto the stupid thing, you idiot! Oh my god! And that's only the ones that I've mentioned. But despite that, Sunshine went pretty smoothly, and I ended the game at the 8.5 hour mark. So I took a quick break, did some hoverboarding, and started Mario 64 DS. Since I finished the first 2 games so quickly, my mind started to get the idea of going back and 100%ing Sunshine, but I didn't fully commit to that. Yet. So now we move on to Mario 64 DS. In order to 100% Mario 64 DS, you need to get 7 stars in each of the 15 main worlds. You'll also need to get 100 coins in those main worlds, unlock 3 characters, defeat Bowser 3 times, and find 30 secret stars. This game is one of my biggest conundrums of all time, because I love literally everything about it except the controls. It looks nice, the extra stars have some fun ideas, there's brand new levels to explore, you can play as multiple characters that control differently, it comes with touch control minigames, there's a multiplayer mode, it does everything that a remake should do, but the controls and physics just aren't very good. And if you don't get the physics and controls right, then it simply cannot top what came before it. Here's just one example of what I'm talking about. See, I'm trying to backflip and wall jump up to the star in Womp's Fortress. This was very difficult to do because I couldn't control Mario's momentum in the air. His speed is completely locked in and he can barely move after committing. And on top of that, I was starting to get tired of playing. I was actually getting so tired that I completed the penguin race and walked out like a dumbass without grabbing the star. but even so, progress was coming along nicely. In fact, I managed to get 30 stars on top of the 2 other Mario games from earlier, so I was feeling confident about being able to finish on time. So with that, I went to bed and was excited for the next day. Let's go! Day 2 began, and apparently I watched a Pokemon Presents before starting and didn't care for it. I probably shouldn't have wasted my time finding out that Pokemon sleep is real. Wow, fascinating. But at least I unlocked Luigi last night, which means that playing was going to get a lot easier and faster because of how overpowered he is. Just the fact that his backflip flutters allows him to make insane jumps and get a lot of stars much faster than he normally could. To start the day off, I unlocked Wario so I could have the rest of the characters, which would allow me to get the rest of the stars. There's a handful of stars that require a specific character, of course, so it made sense to get them all so I could just clean up each stage as smoothly as possible without too much backtracking. The day was going so well, actually, that I had 80 stars and I wasn't even 2 hours into day 2. Getting up early is a blessing sometimes. I couldn't believe how quickly I was cleaning house. So I decided earlier that day to go back into Mario Sunshine to get the rest of the shines. Now, I know that sounds like a really bad idea considering how many games are left, but in the moment, I had just beaten 3 games in like a day and felt like I could do the rest of Sunshine and Mario 64 DS without any issues. So that's exactly what I did. I started by getting a lot of quick shines that I never got in Delfino Plaza, which reassured me that I was making the right choice of switching to 100%ing every 3D Mario. I even completed the Watermelon Festival on my first attempt, which is a shine that used to take me hours. And next thing I knew, I had gotten all the secret shines, and all that was left was 100 coins and the blue coins. So I started going for the hundreds. In Bianco Hills, well, it took a while. 100 coins in general takes a long time in Mario Sunshine, and at this point, I was really hesitant on continuing this. But for some reason, I decided to keep going and just see how far I'd get. To save time, I pulled up a blue coin guide on my phone and set the speed to 2x so I could watch the video faster and find the blue coins as quickly as I could. If I'm doing this marathon, I might as well just go all out, right? The conflict of going for 100% or just beating the games was slowly sinking towards just beating them after like an hour of going for 100 coins in Sunshine, but here's the thing. I already made the commitment to get those shines and I already got some of them. It would be dumb if I didn't finish at this point. But then we get to Gelato Beach's 100 coins. Look at all those coins. Look at all those coins I'm missing! No! I just missed all of those coins! Like I said, getting 100 coins sucks. I actually had to restart this shine because there weren't enough coins for me to grab after missing so many. The coins from enemies despawn after like 2 seconds, which is incredibly unfair when you get attacked by the bees and aren't able to move. After spending an hour getting 100 in blue coins, I decided to switch back to Mario 64 DS. Switching to this game was a godsend for my sanity. Not only was I getting stars way faster, but my mood improved too. And the coins last for a long time too. Like seriously, I'm given a fair amount of time to collect them. Wow, what a crazy concept. I managed to play for almost 15 hours and ended the day with 138 stars. How in the hell did I pull that off? I actually can't believe how quickly I was moving through Mario 64 DS. Because this was a mostly successful day, I decided to sleep on the idea of actually 100%ing all the games. Let's go! I woke up and made the final decision. I was actually going to try to 100% all the games as of now. Just as we were approaching the actual day 3 mark, I was really concerned about the very last secret star. What I basically needed to do was catch 8 glowing rabbits. These rabbits unlock the mini games, but also unlock a star. The thing is, I wasn't sure if I was going to get these glowing rabbits because I already unlocked all the mini games on this cartridge. So when I got to 148 stars, I was starting to worry that this wouldn't be possible to do. That's because I couldn't find a single rabbit, and I need to find ones that are glowing white. The reason I thought they weren't spawning was because I had already unlocked all the mini games. Heck, I deleted my 150 star save file in desperation, and that still didn't spawn the glowing bunnies. But it turns out I just had to talk to the toad in the rec room, and he's the key to spawning them. So now that just means the grind is on. Now, grinding something in a marathon. I mean, that's gotta take a long time, right? Well, not exactly. There's a way to catch these little buggers quickly. You leave the main castle doors as Yoshi, check for a glowing rabbit, go back into the castle, and do this over and over again. After a few tries, I saw a glowing rabbit, which means I can actually 100% Mario 64 DS. I just needed to get 8 rabbits, so it didn't take as long as you'd expect. It's not like shiny hunting in Pokemon. The odds of you finding a glowing rabbit are much higher than I remembered it being. So I got 150 stars right at the official day 3 mark, which meant I had the entire day to 100% Mario Sunshine. And things were going just about as well as they could. 100 coins and blue coins were taking random amounts of time. It really depended on the stage I was playing. Pinna Park's 100 was a piece of cake, but then you got the blue coins in Noki Bay. They really put these in the most obscure spots imaginable. Even with a guide, it took me a while to get them all. But 4 hours in, I actually did it. I got the missing blue coins, did the stupid durian fruit mission, and gave my blue coins to the bear so I could 100% Mario Sunshine. But my day was nowhere close to done. After a very short break, I started Mario Galaxy and was praying to the gods that I could make a lot of progress. In order to 100% Mario Galaxy, you need to get 121 stars. To do that, I'm required to collect 6 to 7 stars in 29 major galaxies, as well as go to 13 other minor galaxies that have 1 to 2 stars each. The only thing I won't be doing is replaying every star as Luigi, because it's literally the same levels, which is pretty redundant if you ask me. And let's also keep in mind that there is a lot of video game left, so I have no choice but to skip out on Luigi. Now, if you've played the Galaxy games, you already know that they're slower paced and you can't skip any cutscenes. This was by far the biggest problem with the entire challenge. It wasn't dying in levels or playing bad, no, it was the loading times. Now, maybe you think I'm exaggerating a bit, or just overthinking. Well, boy do I have some news for you. Every time you grab a star, you're forced to watch Mario be all dun 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 dun, and then the screen fades out, Mario goes back to the hub, he's like, oh, yeah, and ba-da-da-da-ba-dum, and this entire segment happens 121 times. And do you want to know how much time this wastes? Well, I added up the total time for this one segment, and it was 17 seconds. If you times that by 121, you get 2,057 seconds, or around 34 minutes. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, that's not all. Let's not forget that you also have to go back into the level itself, pick the galaxy, select the star, and watch more unskippable cutscenes. The time that this takes varies a little bit, but it's roughly around 23 seconds from selecting a galaxy to actually playing the game. That times 121 is 2,783 seconds, which is around 46 minutes. That totals up to around 80 minutes. And let's not forget there's a bunch of other cutscenes that happen throughout the game that we can't skip. I have to mash through the coin screen, the star bit screen, if I want to save the game or not. That basically means that I'm losing anywhere from 90 to 100 minutes on just the game loading. Now, normally this wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's a huge problem for the marathon that I'm doing now. I need as many time saves as possible to make this all work. Now, I know that all sounds overwhelming, but that wasn't really the case. In fact, things mellowed out quite a bit. My gameplay went pretty well at the beginning, but I was not. Only into day 3, I was so drained from playing video games under this kind of pressure, and we're not even halfway through this thing. I was also getting tired of listening to Mario game music, so I loaded up some random stuff on YouTube. On this day, I chose to listen to Noteblock's 2022 music compilation. I think I played the entire thing like 3 times in a row, so you're welcome for the watch time, I guess. Since Galaxy is such a slow-paced game, I was running on autopilot, and my mind was drifting off into all sorts of weird shit, such as how my life the past 10 years has been extremely unusual compared to most human beings. And I was at the tipping point of having existential thoughts, but instead of that happening, all I wanted to do was play other video games. Splatoon 3's first wave of DLC dropped during the marathon, there was a bunch of new stuff in Salmon Run that came out, and I couldn't do any of that. No, I'm stuck playing Mario Galaxy for the 10th time. Never have I felt so trapped with work in my life. Playing these games felt like a chore for the first time. But despite all of that, things were still coming together. I wasn't getting stars as fast as I wanted, but I was trying my best to save time where I could. Another thing I was doing was getting a lot of star bits in the levels. That's because you need a total of 6,000 star bits for all the Lumas combined outside each room, and I don't want to waste time grinding for star bits at the very end, so because of that, I had to play some levels slower, but in the long run, I think it was a good strategy. I was trying to at least reach triple digits with stars before going to bed, but I wasn't there yet even when it was was midnight. But I had one thing going for me at least. I maxed my life count without realizing it, so that's kind of cool. I ended up getting 101 stars by the end of the night, and that was it. At that point, I had been playing for almost 15 hours and really needed some sleep. Before bed, I hopped onto the hoverboard and tried to contemplate how on earth I was going to finish all these games. It was at this moment that I realized how much of a mistake going for 100% was. And it's like, I knew it was a bad idea from the get-go. I've 100% all these games in the past. I remember how long they took. Why on earth am I doing this to myself? Let's go. I'm tired still. Boy, oh boy, am I ready for another fun day of gaming. I'm still not done with Galaxy, which means I need to f***ing cook today. I gotta finish this game and haul some booty in Galaxy 2 if I want to stand a chance to finish on time. Thankfully, I was cruising through the remainder of the Purple Coin Comet, and after finishing the anticlimactic 121st star, Mario Galaxy 1 was finally complete. And that was it for Mario 3D All-Stars. It was time to hop into Mario Galaxy 2, which means we're switching to a much lower resolution because the only way we can play it authentically is with a Wii or Wii U. So I fired it up on the Wii U and got my Wiimote and nunchuck ready to go. The big hurdle for completing this game is the green stars and comet medals. The only strategy I really had was to get the comet medals on the first attempt. That way, I would never need to re-enter a level after getting its initial star. And then, of course, use a guide for the green stars so I don't waste time looking around. Mario Galaxy 2 has 122 stars spread across 49 galaxies, and each area has 2 to 3 stars per galaxy. But that doesn't include an additional 120 green stars, which is also 2 to 3 stars per galaxy. And let's not forget that I need to max out my star bit counter to unlock the final galaxy in the game. So that's quite literally twice the amount of content, and I still have 4 games after this one. Like last time, cutscenes are a massive hurdle. I decided to time out how long they take once again, so I could get an average on my time wasted. And the results? Oh man, the results are really scary. Once you collect a star, fade out of the galaxy, fly back to Starship Mario, and get access to pushing A again, that takes around 19 seconds. With 242 stars to collect, that gives us a grand total of 4,598 seconds, or 76.5 minutes. While that sounds really bad, it kind of balances itself out. Since you don't really use Starship Mario for anything outside of entering the galaxies, you'll get Mario to levels using this simplified UI instead of running around the Comet Observatory, which is obviously going to be faster. But even still, time gets wasted watching Mario fly into a stage, selecting a star, and waiting for more unskippable intro cutscenes to play out. This on average takes around 25 seconds, assuming you select a star quickly. So times that by 242 and you get 6,050 seconds, or almost 100 minutes. So without including Galaxy 2's other unskippable cutscenes, the Grand Star cutscenes that take extra long, or clicking through the coin/starbit/save screens, we lose almost 3 hours of time. And you know what's hilarious? You can actually skip the Galaxy opening cutscenes, but only after dying or completing the star already. So Nintendo had the courtesy of letting us skip cutscenes, but only after we're forced to watch them. Thanks, Nintendo. Thank you. But anyway, since I started Galaxy 2 so much earlier in the day compared to Galaxy 1 yesterday, I'd gotten around 40 stars and there was quite a bit of daylight to burn still. I also looked up that green stars wouldn't take as long as I anticipated. It'd probably be around 3 to 4 hours considering you don't play that much of the original level to reach them. So things were looking good, despite the fact that I was completely exhausted and felt like death. I was on track to finish the main 120 stars and at least get started with the green stars. At this point, I had a goal in my mind that I wanted to execute and follow through with, which led to more pressure, which in turn led to me losing my patience. I was starting to get into the harder galaxies, and even when making simple mistakes, I was getting really mad. And here's the thing with that. If you knew me in person, you'll know that I don't really get mad at anything or anyone. The only outlier to that is video games. This is the one thing that makes me angry because I hate making mistakes and wasting time on something that I already sink so much of my life into. And I think because I'm already over 4 days deep into this challenge, I was getting more angry than usual. And I thought that was a good thing, because sometimes getting angry at games makes me play more efficiently. And in short spurts, it probably does. However, for this marathon, it was a pretty big drawback. Getting mad was making me play slightly worse than normal, but I couldn't really control my mood. The constant loading screens was making me lose my mind and I wanted it to be done, so for about an hour this day, I was getting really upset at the mistakes I was making. And it also doesn't help that my cursor was being extremely finicky for some reason. It just kept shaking around and wasn't very accurate, and I have no idea why. I didn't have anything blocking the sensor, so maybe my remote just isn't that great anymore from age? I don't know, but it was becoming a problem because I really needed to get star bits as I was going. Like with the first game, I still have to feed Lumas and I need them at the end of the game too. In fact, I need more than the first game. Galaxy 1 requires 6,000 star bits for every Luma, Galaxy 2 is 8,500. Why it's so much more is beyond me, because that is just obnoxious. After getting mad at levels some more, I trucked through and finished the final boss about 11.5 hours into day 4, but I still wasn't done for the day. I really needed to get to 120 stars, and holy shit was I so over it. When I'm only playing games and doing nothing else, eat, sleep, game, repeat, remember that? Everyone knows that stupid ass cringe shirt? That's me right now, and I don't want to be that person anymore. That has to be the saddest thing I've ever said in my life. But that was the least of my worries. After getting all the stars I could get, I still didn't have enough star bits for the Lumas. I had no idea what I was gonna do, so I decided to talk to the green toad, and that's when I learned that you can share star bits with other save files. Oh my god, because by pure coincidence, I had another completed save file, so I was actually able to transfer star bits over. Talk about a lucky break right there. So after finishing up and beating Bowser again for some arbitrary reason, I actually got 120 stars in one day. It was at that moment that I decided to just get a few green stars to finish up. Let's go! I got up late because my body decided to catch up on sleep, and I immediately got started on the green stars. My pace for each world was around 35 to 40 minutes, but I'm once again bogged down by even more loading screens. Every time you're about to select a star, you see this prankster comment incoming message, and you can't skip it. It adds an extra 3 seconds, which wastes an additional 720 seconds or 12 minutes. So while it's not the worst thing ever, that extra 12 minutes feels so much longer when you see it again and again and again. Especially since a lot of the green star placements are put in painfully similar spots. Just look at Slipsand Galaxy as an example. This first green star is down this sand waterfall thing, and the second one is quite literally an extra 5 seconds farther out. And the third one is in the same area as the second one. Why does the game kick me out of the galaxy entirely if it's gonna be like this? Could it have not at least respawned me at the last checkpoint or something? Anything better? The real issue today though is the fact that I did wake up late. Just getting up an hour or two later than I usually do means that I'm going to be forced to play a lot later into the night, or I'll have to get up extra early one of these days to catch up. My only saving grace was the green stars in Boss Blitz Galaxy. And you want to know why? Because for some reason I can skip the boss cutscenes. Even though I haven't gotten the green stars yet, or died, I'm just allowed to do that for this one galaxy for some reason. And also, I didn't need to max out my star bits to get the perfect run unlock because I guess the other save file already did that? I honestly don't understand how this game works, but me silly am I not complaining about that. Surprisingly, I only died a few times on the perfect run, which means I finally finished getting 100% in Super Mario Galaxy 2. After having a meeting with my partner manager and eating, I finally started Mario 3D Land. I was so relieved to have moved past the Galaxy games, because at least everything else from here on out isn't slow and laggy. In order to 100% Mario 3D Land, I have to complete 96 levels, collect all 285 star medals, and touch the top of every flagpole. There's 3 star medals in every level, plus a couple of random ones in mystery houses here and there. So in order to beat this game as efficiently as possible, I need to get all the star medals on the first go for each level and try to die as little as possible. To unlock 8 Crown, the final stage, you're supposed to replay all the levels as Luigi as well, but I'm not going to be doing that for the same reason I skipped it in Galaxy 1. It's completely redundant. And also, it's day 5 and I'm running out of time here. But I'll of course still finish the last secret level. Thankfully, Mario 3D Land is a lot easier than the Galaxy games. It's a huge relief that I'm past all the other games, which are notably more difficult. 3D Land is kinda like the breather of the challenge, which also makes it a bit boring, but I don't mind at all. It's pretty common to play an entire level in 3D Land, and once you leave, you have no idea what you just played. It's not that the game isn't fun, but since there's no theme for each world and the levels themselves aren't very distinct, instinct, it's hard to remember what you actually played. I've gone through 3D Land like 5 or 6 times before, and I still can't remember the majority of the levels. Thankfully though, I was really cruising. I got through the first half of the game in a few hours, but I was mentally suffering. I was just so tired of playing Mario games. It feels like I'm being chained to a cog in a wheel, being tested on my willpower and patience. I think a lot of these feelings has to do with the fact that 3D Land is such an average Mario game. Things should get a little bit better once we get to 3D World. But that's really all I have to say. I ended the day beating most of 3D Land, and I was feeling pretty good about being able to finish 3D World very quickly tomorrow. I speedrun this game a couple years ago, so I should still have some of my skills from that. So while I didn't make quite as much progress as I wanted to, it was as far as I could mentally go without falling asleep.
Let's go.
So it's day 6. Got about 3 hours of sleep. This challenge is actually stressing me out so much that I'm not sleeping.
Don't you all love days like this, when you're so stressed about something that you wake up early, you can't fall back asleep, and since you're already awake, you just start the day like everything's peaches and cream? Hooray for sleep schedules! Woo! So, as you can imagine, I say virtually nothing while finishing 3D Land. I am quite literally running on pure willpower at this point, just trying to take advantage of this pocket of time where I'm able to function. When I got to the final boss fight, this happened. Cool, we did it. This is my reaction, a f***ing yawn. This game is just, that sums up the whole game. I beat it, I'm done with it. How do I react? I yawned. I kid you not, I was so tired that I cleared the entirety of S8 Crown on the first try, only to start walking on the thank you blocks and dying. If that doesn't speak volumes for how draining this whole challenge is, then I don't know what does. Now that that was over, I moved on to Mario 3D World. And of course, I picked the Switch version because all the characters move faster, but also because I can skip the cutscenes. Oh my god, Nintendo, you mad lads! Wow, truly innovative idea. Let's go. Yeah! But anyway, to 100% Mario 3D World, you need to complete 117 levels spread out between 12 overworlds, touch the top of each flagpole, as well as collect 85 stamps and 380 green stars. The only thing I won't be doing, as I'm sure you can guess by now, is completing each level with all 5 characters, because once again, it's very redundant to do that. So while I do need to collect a lot more things this time and there's more levels, just the fact the game is paced better is gonna make it much easier to get through. Plus, once you collect a green star stamp, you have it for good. So if you die getting one of these items, it's not a big deal at all. You just have to clear the level and you'll still have the collectible. Plus the other characters are more fun to use, the power-ups are more interesting, the levels themselves are more unique, the music is nice, just everything I could possibly want right now is here. The only problem at this moment is that I'm still running on 3 hours of sleep. So at some point, I stopped playing and went back upstairs for a nice 3-hour nap. The nap still wasn't enough sleep, but at least I was feeling a lot better and was able to continue on with the day. In fact, I got through the entire game in one day. Even Champions Road wasn't that much of a problem, mostly because I figured out something that I somehow didn't consider doing until this very day. The only section that drives me crazy in Champions Road is all the ant troopers on the red blocks. Why not just smack them away with a Tanuki tail? This game's been out for almost 10 years. How have I never thought of doing this before? But anyway, 3D World is done. Now I just have 2 games to go. The goal for tonight was to just finish the main game for Odyssey and go for all the Power Moons afterwards. We are so close to the end now. Can it actually be done despite how little time is left?
Let's go.
This is it, the final day. After a few hours, I finished Mario Odyssey and just needed to go for the post-game stuff. The order that I wanted to get everything in was purple coins, power moons, and costumes. With guides pulled up on my phone, this seemed very doable considering I still had like 20-ish hours left. But once I reached 300-ish moons in Lake Kingdom, I was starting to get worried again. Sand Kingdom took like 2 hours to get everything, so I really wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough time. I mean, how many damn moons are there? Well, we'll get to that in a bit. The reason these moons were taking so long long is because so many of them require you to backtrack to kingdoms multiple times, or you have to wait for things to happen, like these nut plants to grow, or you need a specific costume for some specific person for some arbitrary reason. There's just way too many moons in Mario Odyssey. I really wish the game's levels were smaller and had less to do, honestly. I think Bowser's Fury struck the perfect chord of being open world, but also offering a meaningful platforming challenge. A lot of those cat shines are samey as well, but at least I have to put in effort to get them. With Odyssey, it's just a ton of running back and forth and warping around the map to get places faster. In fact, it almost feels like Mario Galaxy again with how much of a slog the post-game is. And I should rephrase that it feels like this because I'm still under a timer, which is getting dangerously close to the end of the day, by the way. See, when I 100% this game for the first time, it was an incredible experience because I was going at my own pace. But even then, I was tired of all the moons by the end. But then I discovered the dark, cold truth of my situation. There's a reason I haven't explained to you how to 100% this game yet, because I completely forgot how much shit's in this game. I originally thought that there were 500 power moons total, because that's how many you need to unlock Darker Side. Well, guess what? Oh, I could not have been wrong. I could not have been more wrong. No, there's actually 880 unique power moons. And that's not even every collectible. There's also 1,000 purple coins, and then there's the costumes. Oh my god, the costumes. See, I knew the costumes were gonna chew up a lot of my time and coins too, but I did not realize how much the DLC adds things up. Not including costumes you get from purple coins, we have to unlock 64 costumes, which cost us a grand total of 97,098 coins. God damn! And let's keep in mind that even if we get all 880 unique power moons, we still have to buy extra ones to get 999 power moons just so we can get the stupid hat on Peach's castle. So that means we gotta get an extra 119 power moons at 100 coins each, and that cost us an additional 11,900 coins. So to do everything in the game, you need a bare minimum of 108,998 coins, and that is assuming you die 0 times, which takes away 10 coins. This game is f***ing sadistic for completionists. Now, there are decent ways to farm out coins in Odyssey. You can play Luigi's Balloon World or repeat this one sub-area over and over again, but it didn't matter either way. It was quite literally impossible for me to 100% Odyssey realizing how long the game is. Even if I played for 16 to 18 hours a day instead of 12 to 14, I don't know if this is actually possible unless you know how to speedrun every 3D Mario game at a high level. That is the only way I can see this being feasible at all. So what did I end up doing? Well, the only option I had left was to at least get all the purple coins and get 500 power moons to unlock all the levels. I also unlocked a few costumes, but that was all the time I had. This alone took quite a few hours, and I didn't end up finishing this until past midnight. And guess what? I'm not done yet! I still gotta complete Bowser's Fury! And thank God, this game is short to 100% and I can easily get all 100 cat shines. The last good thing going for me here is the fact that when Bowser's Fury came out, I tried speedrunning it for a couple of months just like 3D World. Now, do I remember a lot of the strats? Nope, not at all. But at the very least, I still have the general skill set to be able to play quickly and well without many mistakes. I finished the game in a little over 3 hours, and I don't have much to say about it. I was completely delusional at this point. We bounced and trounced in the clouds. That's right, we trounced them. 10 more to go, and then I am f***ing free. I'm free! 10 more shines! As you can imagine, I just wanted this to end so bad. But after getting 100 cat shines and defeating Bowser one more time, it was finally over. The end of this challenge was done, and even though I couldn't technically finish every game 100%, I got just about as far as my body would let me. The only other thing I can do now is talk about Squarespace, which is today's sponsor. I'm sure you've heard of Squarespace before. They're the best and most powerful place to create the slickest websites. You can connect your audience and generate revenue through members-only content, manage members, send emails, and leverage audience insight, all on one easy-to-use platform. You can make a community on your website with a fully integrated commenting system that supports threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. And that's not even including Squarespace Extensions, a new third-party tool that lets you manage inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Nathaniel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Links in the description. So after all of that, was it worth it in the end? I mean, kind of, yes, I guess. I learned a few things, like my patience isn't as good as I thought it was, so that's something that I can work on. And I also learned that I never want to do this again, unless it's with a group of people and we're all like racing it together and or streaming. I don't know, maybe we'll do that. No guarantees, we'll see. Anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching. Bye. Gonna go get some sleep now.